Welcome to A Pair of Bookends, the book club you can carry anywhere. I'm your host, Hannah MacDonald, and I'll be bookending the conversation with some of the most exciting voices from the bookish world. Hello and welcome to Books to Screen, the series where I invite bookish guests to join me for deep dives into my favourite topic, adaptations. For today's episode, I'm thrilled to be joined by author and musician Sophie Crawford. As a musician, Sophie has toured with Patrick Wolf, played in productions at the Globe, in the West End, and has toured internationally with Ad Infinitum. She's the co-founder of Queer Folk, which runs events across the country, and she's also the founder of the Harrison Sing Around, a monthly free folk singing session, and the founder of Pattern Ground, a night for new music and writing in London. Sophie runs the Big Dyke Book Club and regular writing workshops, and her debut novel, My Ex-Girlfriend's Wedding, is out now and published by Verve. For this episode, Sophie did offer up a more traditional books to screen option to discuss, but I decided to go with her second option because my theatre-loving heart and curiosity won out. For my book-loving listeners, I hope you'll trust me going slightly off-piste with this one. We are going to be discussing the modern adaptation of Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew, which is the 1999 film 10 Things I Hate About You, directed by Gil Junger, with screenplay written by Karen McCullough and Kirsten Smith. Here to deep dive with me, welcome Sophie to A Pair of Bookends.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. I am so excited for us to get into this. And obviously, I told you before we started recording that these are two things that I haven't watched or read before or seen. So I was really excited to finally get to do this. But before we dive in, I have slightly prepared you. I am going to be doing some quick fire questions on adaptations. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
What, in your opinion, is the best adaptation?
I've got to give you three, because otherwise you'll just think I'm like too silly. But like, so the best one ever is obviously Muppets Christmas Carol. That's like hands down.
So good.
And then from like an arty perspective, there's an adaptation of Faust by Švankmajer, which is like crazy clay. And then
I haven't seen this.
Yeah, you've got to watch that. I mean, it's bonkers. It's like stop motion and like really mad. And then the other one is Call Me by Your Name. Andrea. I mean, I'm part of the crowd that saw that like 3 times in the cinema. So
yeah, my friend Emma is obsessed with both the book and the film. So
yeah. One hell of a thing. But yeah, those are three different areas.
Those are great. You came prepared. What, in your opinion, is the best character casting?
I mean, I know you're like, this is sort of a basic one, but I still think Alicia Silverstone as Cher was like an amazing choice for Clueless, because that's such a hard character to feel any sympathy for, and I think she was great. You know, I bought it and I loved her forever in it.
Absolute icon. It's massive diva energy in that. I loved it.
Exactly.
An adaptation you would love to see?
I'm desperate for this, and apparently it has been optioned and like just no one's doing it, but Alison Bechdel's Dykes to Watch Out For is the big collection of all of her cartoons, and it's like, how has that not been turned into like a series or a film, an animated something? I mean, it's so good. It's like,
I haven't read this, but I think I've heard quite a lot about that author.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It's
famous for the Bechdel test, which used to be a thing, but she wrote she writes graphic novels, and she wrote Fun Home. That's the one that lots of people know that got turned into a play.
Oh, interesting. I love that. I also have been reading your book, and I do think that would make an excellent TV series.
Great. Well, just keep saying that around.
Let's just put that out there.
Help me stop having to do every job under the sun. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
That needs to happen. Do you read before you watch?
It so depends. And I feel like if I've read before I've watched, I'm much less likely to watch. I'm much more likely to be like, no, like with basically, I can't face any of the Wuthering Heights adaptations because I'm just too like, no, I just can't bear that. So I think it's much more likely for me to watch than read, because it'll be like a book I would have never actually been that into or thought that I was going to be into, and then I watch it and go like, oh, actually this is cool. So
is this the upcoming Wuthering Heights, is that like you're like,
I just can't. I bet it'll be really long as well. I've got the feeling it's going to be like really long and like just quite joyless. I don't want that one. I don't want to watch that.
An upcoming adaptation that you are excited for?
My partner recently saw Hamnet and said it was really, really good. And I think that's a really good example of a like film I should watch because it will make me read a book that in another world I probably wouldn't have gone for because I'm like not that I'm in the past I've just not gone for like historical reimaginings of things.
Yeah.
But I know everyone loves that book, so it would be probably a good way in for me.
I mean, I only read it recently to
Love
do the
it.
first episode of this series, and I absolutely loved that book, and I wish I'd read it sooner. And I'm
Really?
not a historical fiction gal
That's
at
so
all. Yeah, it's
strange.
incredible, like truly incredible.
Oh my
So I
God.
would definitely recommend that.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'm a twin. I've got a twin brother, and he's a
Wow.
very kind, gentle person. And my partner was a bit like, "This might destroy you, this film and or
Yeah.
book."
Yeah.
So I'm preparing myself for that.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
might.
yeah,
It
quite
might.
close to home, but yeah, in the fashion.
Yeah, it's very very moving, and the film. I don't think me and my friend stopped sobbing throughout. It's just
Oh my
us sniffling away. Yeah, it's
God,
hard. It's hard.
it's so full on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Go in with lots of tissues if you do go watch it. An author that you think would be great at writing for screen.
This is such a good question because I always thought that Armistead Maupin should be writing for screen or
Mm,
like Michelle T or any of these like conversational queer writers.
yeah.
But whenever people have attempted to do that or they've got involved, it always seems to have like not worked out. So I think I don't know if it's something about like their authorial voices are just so strong and clear that when they're whacked into a writer's room, everything just crumbles or they're made to compromise too much. But I feel like maybe if they were put in charge of an entire thing or harnessed properly, I think they would make something incredible. But I think it's hard.
The Tales of the City, that's been adapted, hasn't it?
Yeah, it sort of got adapted in the 90s quite badly.
Oh
And then
no.
more recently it got adapted, but it wasn't actually based on his story, and I think he
Oh,
wasn't in the room either, the writer's room. So it's just like it was
interesting.
sort of like conceptually like this is about a load of queer people, but in reality
Oh.
not. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Or yeah, I mean, what I'm always interested by also is like authors that actually then go and are playwrights, and then you're like, oh, okay, you're just showing. Here's another place where when I'm completely in control, I'm amazing, like James Baldwin or something. You know what I mean? Where
Yes.
I'm not going to be in a writer's room. I'm just going to write my own play, and it's going
Yeah.
to be amazing. So
Yeah.
maybe people need to just be allowed to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. The last quickfire question is
Yeah.
an adaptation you hated.
Okay, Watership Down. I don't know if you ever saw that as a
I
kid.
didn't
Oh
know.
my God, but the book is like, have you read it?
No, I've not.
The book, I know it's about rabbits, but it will like destroy you. Like it's like it's like crazy how sad it is. Why
I've
are
heard
rabbits?
this. I
Why are
think that's what
rabbits
put
get
me off.
tortured like by the other
No,
rabbit?
don't.
So obviously, like the book is like, oh my God, as a child, you're like, it's like ripping your heart out. And
No.
then the film is just like this quite crap animation and it's very short, which, it's not it. It really,
Mm,
really, it's quite insipid. It's not as visceral, like visceral rabbits, that's
yeah.
not that. It's watered down, watership down. So that's a bad
I heard too many traumatic things about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to.
pass. You're going to pass
I'm
on
gonna
it. Honestly,
pass.
it's so good. It's so good. But the film is crap, so don't watch
Oh
it.
no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a definite pass now.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But let's get into the bulk of the episode now. I'm so excited for us to get into this. As I said, listeners, we are going to be talking about The Taming of the Shrew and the 1999 film adaptation, which is 10 Things I Hate About You. What was your introduction to both of these materials?
Yeah, it's a great question. I feel like 10 Things I Hate About You, I'm obsessed with rom-coms. So I think
Yeah.
I was just watching it, out of respect and love for that genre and desperately trying to find things that I haven't watched. So I think I was relatively young, probably when I watched it, probably still a teenager. And I don't think at that point I'd read the play. So probably when I was first watching it, I was just like, high school,
Yeah.
rom-com, up for this. And also I actually do have a real soft spot for high school adaptations of Shakespeare plays because I think they're quite naff, but they're quite weird often. So
Yeah.
I think I was going for that. And then the play I came across twice. I had to study at university when I was probably about 19, and then the following year when I was about 20 we did a touring production of it. Again, this is all when I was a student, and yeah, we took it around Europe, and yeah, did that play. But now I've read it again. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
what a crazy play to choose. But anyway, I didn't choose it. I think at the time I was just like, wow, I'm the lead. How cool. But now it's like, what is going on?
Oh, were you Katerina?
Yeah, I think they could because she's got quite dyke energy. I mean, she's got quite a lesbian energy. Yeah,
An
we can discuss
icon,
that more.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was your experience like touring it though? Like, what was the kind of audience's response to it? Like, how did you guys all
Well,
feel about it?
yeah, it's really funny. I remember at the time I was really, even then in my sort of youthful state, was like, what is going
Yeah.
on with this play? Like, and I couldn't really make it work. Like, I couldn't make it work. And I remember me and the guy who I was playing opposite really didn't, well, like, really struggled to like work well together. I think where it's like
I
really
love
had like,
stories like this.
oh man, it's so well, I mean, from his perspective, I think he was like, I don't want to play a monster. And then from my
Fair.
perspective, I was like, yeah, but like you sort of are one, aren't you? Like, I don't understand. Like, how
Yeah.
can we? So I remember like going and chatting to loads of, I remember even like finding this like director I'd worked with like in the past, and being like, can we talk? Please, can you talk to me about this play? Like, I just don't understand how to make it work. And he had some interesting perspectives. But yeah, I mean, also just to say, like, we were literally touring it around like I think it was like we were in theaters, but like I think it was mainly secondary school kids, and I think
Oh, okay.
from like different countries. So they must have been like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
And also, I think our version was also for reasons that I'll never understand, set in a fairground, of course. For
Oh my God,
literally no reason.
stop.
One of those classic ones. Let's put it there. Okay, that's completely unexamined. Yeah. So I reckon we were just, in a coach going around Europe, not thinking too much about what on earth we were doing. Like
Yeah.
it's a really, really odd play. Like it's odd is putting it kindly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I couldn't comprehend how this is
troubling.
described as like a comedy.
Yeah, no.
Because to me, like, it is a tragedy.
It's such a tragedy and it's brutal
Yeah.
and it's so weird. Like it feels like it feels really uneven in loads of ways, but also just the fact that the framing mechanism is just picked up and then just dropped. And
Yeah.
when I was reading it again this time, I was like, oh my God, this framing mechanism, I've never really thought about this that much. And then I completely forgotten that it doesn't return. And so I was like, wait, I was all gearing up to be like, this is going to make everything make sense. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to give a whole new perspective on this. And then it was like, no, I can't really because it doesn't come back round and you sort of, yeah, never see it again. So
Yeah.
it's sort of unfinished in some ways as a play.
Yeah, the ending really left a bad taste in my mouth. It's
Yeah. How can it not? I think people have, I was trying to do reading around it, and it's like people have really attempted to find ways of not interpreting it as it just seems to be so clearly, which is, a play about horrible misogyny and patriarchy and
yeah.
abuse.
Yeah.
And people have really like worked themselves in knots, being like, it's about, it can't be about that because I think there's so much respect and reverence for Shakespeare. They're like, please let this not be what this play is
Yeah.
about. And it feels like it is what it's about. Like, I just think it's
Yeah.
impossible really to read it in any other way.
For the listeners that might not have read this before,
Yeah.
could you give us like a summary in your terms of what
Of what
this
the play
what
is
the play's
about.
about?
Yeah, yeah. I've made it sound like so like,
No, it
but
is
basically,
though.
it sort of is. So it's not great. Like the plot of the play is that there is a man who has two daughters, Katerina and Bianca, and Katerina is the oldest, and he won't let Bianca get married, the younger one, until the older one has, which is actually quite a standard practice in
Yeah.
very traditional society. So but Katerina is, very much her own person and just is like really not into any of the people who are coming as suitors to her. She's quite angry and upset. And so the people who fancy Bianca, her suitors, they devise a way to find someone who will be able to marry Katerina so that they can move in and marry or get with or court Bianca. And so they find this guy, Petruchio, who is a really odd character
Mm.
who's just really, he makes it really clear he just wants money.
Yeah.
And Katerina's got loads of money. And so they say to him, like, cool, she's a nightmare. We don't think you'll like her, but she's got loads of cash. And he's like, great, I'm up for it. And so he goes and talks to her, and they have like a horrible argument where it's
Yeah.
quite clear that she doesn't like him and he doesn't really like her. And at the
Yeah.
end of it, he goes like, great, we're getting married either like tomorrow or like the next
Yeah.
day, or something, like really quickly.
Yeah.
And then they do get married. I mean, it looks like he's going to stand her up. he does turn up like dressed up in weird clothes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't let her go to the marriage feast. He drags her to his country house where he then starves her and deprives her of sleep for like many days,
Yeah.
and then travels back to her parents, her dad's house, but on the way sort of gaslights her. It's like
Yeah.
psychologically manipulating her,
Mm-hmm.
so basically saying that she just has to agree with everything he says even when it makes no sense. Eventually she gives into that, so it's like, yeah, sun's the moon, like that old man's a young woman, like she's just like takes it all. And then they go back to her parents' house. Meanwhile, there's a whole subplot. Bianca, her younger sister's being courted and got married to this other guy. And then at the very end, there's like all the married people are together, and all the men make a bet about who is the most obedient wife, and Katerina wins as the one that is the most obedient. She comes and does this like incredibly long and weird and sad speech about basically women's obedience to men and how her spirit has sort of been broken, and offers her hand for her husband to stand on. And then like at the end they're like, well, you won the bet, and then off they go. Like that's
Yeah,
it.
and he's so smug about the fact that, he has managed to like tame her, and he sort of mocks the other men for not being able to have done the same with.
Yeah,
It's so gross.
it's so bad.
I
Like
was
it's so bad. I
I
don't know
was
where
really
the
trying to give Shakespeare the benefit of the doubt and was like,
yeah.
is he just commenting on misogyny or is he just misogynistic? Like, does he share these beliefs?
I know, and it's so weird. And also, it's like she's like she's not an objectionable. She's not that objectionable as a
No,
character at the beginning. Like
no.
that's what's so weird. Like if I was to be like if I was like writing workshopping this right at the like top, I'd be like, your psychological journey for this
Yeah,
character makes no sense whatsoever,
no.
because she doesn't resist the marriage either. And it's
Yeah.
like when he says like she's consented to get married, she doesn't say PS no we haven't, because her dad had said like, I'm only going to go forward with this if my daughter's up for it.
Yeah.
So it's like a very weird these weird gaps, and
Yeah.
her silences really don't make a lot of sense. But I mean, that's quite consistent, isn't it, in Shakespeare, where you're like, why isn't that woman saying anything?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She's not all the things that they say that she is. Like they're
No.
awful about her.
Yeah.
Like truly awful. And I found that in the film, Ten Things I Hate About You, like they're awful about her as well. And she's
Yeah.
like this, she keeps to herself because
Yeah.
but she's not like a nasty person. She's
No.
got her own tastes that might differ from what society expects women to like. She plays football, she likes different kind of music to the girls. There's that I think it's the first scene where the girls in the car next to her are playing like this tune and they're all singing along and think they're so cool, and then she pulls up and she's just like
Yeah, but again, like at
rocking
the end
out
of
to
the
her
day,
own song like it's
yeah, but the differences are so marginal. She's still in a
yeah,
car. She's still listening to
yeah,
music.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sorry, like these differences are like nothing. Like,
Yeah, they treat her like she's so like unhinged. And
mm,
Julia Stiles is beautiful.
I
I'm
know,
sorry,
I
like
know, I know, I know. Yeah, it's so weird. It's
it's really strange. And I wanna get into the sort of casting
yeah,
elements. I think that's quite a fun thing
yeah,
to dive
definitely.
into. We have this sort of weird character in The Taming of the Shrew is Petruchio, and see in Ten Things I Hate About You, it's Patrick, played by Heath Ledger,
Mm.
who I think they really must have had to put the work in to try and make him appear as like weird. I think it's just supposed to be
Yeah,
like his personality, because you don't look at him and go, he's not somebody that somebody would typically go for.
yeah.
Actually, it's the opposite.
I know, I know. You're like, wait. Can we just take a minute? That's Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, like what?
With his
And
little dimple, like, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I know. It's really strange. Yeah, that casting was pretty nuts. And
Yeah.
also, what I find really funny is that he's got this like friend who is like has a skinhead and like some spiky hair or whatever, who looks like actually way too old to be at that school. But I guess they all are. But you'd be like, maybe someone who's a little bit more clearly alternative like that might have made a bit more sense. But that
Yes.
guy like never even gets a line.
He doesn't. He
Yeah,
doesn't.
He's just he's just there sometimes in the DT class. But like, yeah, Heath Ledger, a mad choice. And also, like, throughout the film, he actually just looks like quite uncomfortable. Like it's like he
Yeah,
hasn't really he hasn't quite worked out like what his character choices are. So he's just
yeah.
quite like, how about this? Or like I always think of that moment where he sings a big song for her.
Is it Can't Take My Eyes Off of You?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
which I thought was really like it's really interesting because it's like he just looks really uncomfortable like
yeah.
while he's doing it. Yeah, I
Do
don't
you
know.
think maybe he performed it and then they were like, "You're embarrassed. You need to give more."
Give more, please give more, like run after the police, like please, 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 please.
But he
Yeah,
does these weird, like dramatic movements over the. It's horrible. It's
yeah,
horrible to
he
watch.
looks really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's really strange because obviously that moment is supposed to be like, I don't give a shit, like I
yeah.
love you, and like I'm making a fool of myself, and it's like you don't look like you're that into it, and Julia
No,
Stiles looks a bit like
what is happening?
what is going
I
on?
I think the saving grace is the band coming in. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and thank God for the band.
yeah,
I mean, honestly, without it, it would be absolutely devastating. It would be so
literally.
awful. It'd be so embarrassing. Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
let's talk about the casting of the sisters.
Oh my
So we
God.
have
Please.
Katerina and Bianca, and Katerina is played by Julia Stiles, and it's Larissa Eleniak. I think that's how
Yeah,
you
yeah,
pronounce her
yeah.
name,
Larissa Oleynik. Yeah,
playing
yeah, yeah.
Bianca, and I think she's quite a good choice for
Yeah, I was actually quite
Bianca.
interested by that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they could have gone a couple of different ways with it, but it feels like they really played up her youth. Like
Yeah,
she's really I don't know how old she's supposed to be, but there's a point where she's like swinging on a swing wearing like little Mary Janes, and I'm like, are you
yeah,
15? Like, are
yeah,
you really young?
yeah.
So she looks quite like girl next doory, and there really seems to be, yeah, emphasizing like her youth and her naivety and
Yeah, I had forgotten about that scene where she's
yeah,
swinging
but
on
she's
this.
swinging on the swing and she's got these little socks on and
And
these
this like
little
long cute skirt, like it's
skirt,
very, yeah,
kid, and like she's like hugging her teddy, and like they emphasizing that she's young
yeah.
basically. But I thought she's yeah,
All the boys are so weird about her.
it's quite strange. I found that
Yeah,
really strange because you're looking you're seeing Julia Stiles, who's like an unbelievable babe, like
yeah,
7 foot tall, and then this like quite small. I mean, she's lovely to look at, but she's not.
yeah,
You're not like whoa. Yeah, she's just like a nice person. But it's all these guys who are like this slightly lispy 14-year-old. So weird.
yeah. And what's the guy called that's the model?
Oh yeah.
Joey,
Oh yeah.
played
Joey.
by
Joey.
Andrew Keegan. He is such a creep. So he, clocks her. And I feel like if you've been in the same school for years, like surely you would have seen her before. So I don't know if it's like he's entertained that idea, but he's, been interested in other girls. And then he sees her and he's like, oh, he says to his friend something like, oh no, I don't want to like, I think his friend like offers to bet him on whether he
Yeah.
can get
Bet
her.
him.
And he's like,
Yeah.
nah, I just want to do it for the fun.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
really weird.
But it's so grim. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's grim. But I mean, I guess that is the one thing that sometimes it's like, oh, I see why they do these high school adaptations because you're like, what are the environments in which these toxic male conversations would take place? Like
Yes.
probably here, exactly here, where everyone is trapped and no one is challenging anyone and everyone's
Yeah.
very insecure. So yeah, yeah, that felt sort of believable as a conversation.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, I was 4 years old in 1999, so I obviously don't have a recollection of what that era was like. But I remember in the early noughties growing up, like it was very much like the magazine culture and like the way women were portrayed in the media. It was like really gross. It was all about how they looked and if they dared to gain any weight or
Yeah,
if it
yeah.
was it was really grim. So I can only imagine what it was like sort of only a few years before that.
Yeah, and also like it's at a time when the idea of being a feminist was seen as like a dirty word or something
Yeah,
to like make people really angry or like it's so any assertion of rights would have been potentially met by a lot of aggression. So
Yeah,
which is what I think we see in that. Julia
definitely.
Stiles, yeah, oh my God, she's like doing nothing. She's
She's
just so minimal.
But
Yeah.
she is such a great casting, I think. Like
Yeah.
she's great at playing that character. But I think, like we said, like it's so hard to believe that she wouldn't be somebody they'd be attracted to. I also think why would they not find it like kind of hot that she was like really sporty and like I don't
Yeah.
know. I thought I thought that'd be the kind of thing that maybe young lads would like, or I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know.
I'm
But
really
also,
confused by it.
yeah, I just find like the level of conformity that I mean, that she's conformed so much. Like,
Hmm.
like she plays on a sports team, and I've heard that
Yeah.
America loves sport.
Yeah.
Like, she's really good at her subjects. Like, she
Yeah.
studies, works really hard. She
Yeah.
lives in a massive house. She's white. She's
Yeah.
rich.
Yeah.
Like what the hell? Like, how much more like accepted by that wider society could someone be,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's really weird. Like, so her divergence is very minimal.
Yeah, it is for sure. And I do think the sort of taming element that is really grim in the play,
Yeah,
but in this, I was really curious about what you felt her trajectory was like, because you could see it as a really like sort of depressing ending that has she like, given up and given in? Or is it just that this person has sort of, seen her as she is and it's actually a really nice ending? Because for me, I was like, oh, this is a nice rom-com magical sort of ending, and he does see her as she is, and he, maybe made bad choices originally and it was quite gross boy stuff that they were doing, but then by the end it's like, he gets to this guitar and he tries to make amends for what he's done, and I found that really nice. But I was like, you could, see this as actually, oh, that is kind of depressing that she's conformed. I don't know, what did you think about?
I mean, I think it's probably doing a bit of both, isn't it? I mean, on the one hand, I thought like I think it is quite an effective rom-com ending because it's like, and her trajectory is sort of like from someone that's very distrustful and very angry and upset because of this horrible thing that's happened to her when she's like 14, where
Yes.
like someone's pressured her to have sex, she's then done it, said no, and then been sort of dumped and shamed. So
Yeah.
like that's fair. So what we're seeing is someone I sort of bought that trajectory of someone who finds some comfort and solace and trust in someone who is also been ostracized and used by the same group of people. So I sort of bought that. And I think the reason why I didn't find it maybe as disturbing as maybe it could be is the fact that she's going across the country to an Ivy League
Hmm.
university in like 2 minutes. So this
Yeah.
is like high school, and then she's got off to like Sarah Lawrence, where I think it's a women's college, isn't it? So it's like
Yeah.
whatever. Like, so like fine. So this has been like a summer, and then it's like I'm off to go and read Sylvia Plath somewhere where people value and respect me.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I found it really funny. I was, reading about the film online, and I was seeing that a lot of women, well, a lot of young girls were watching this film and then going off and buying the bell jar around the time that it came out. And I think the sales went up of that
Really?
book.
Well, they watched her. Wow. God, that's so wow. Because
Yeah.
tonally, obviously, those are incredibly different books. But I'm obsessed with the idea of like youth of America watching 10 Things I Hate About You and being like, and now I'm going to read a weirdly massive copy of The Bell Jar. It's like really
Yes.
big, the one she has. So I'm like, it's not that long a
It's
book.
not
So
that long.
big
No.
text, big
But
type.
this is what I mean, is that shows how effortlessly cool she was.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
so weird that everyone in the film is perceiving her one way, but then the audience are going off and buying the book that she's
Yeah, yeah,
reading because
yeah,
they think
yeah.
she's so cool. So
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, yeah, like objectively, she's definitely the coolest person in the film. Also, like she's into cool music,
yeah.
like, and the band know her a bit. And yeah, I feel like with both her and the Heath Ledger's character, they both got very developed lives outside of school, which is like
Yeah.
where you see the hope for them both, that they're like this slightly crazy institution which has made us both nuts and sad doesn't have to define us from like here on in, and we're already finding ways out of it. So yeah, so I think that's why I find it a bit more hopeful. But yeah, I do know there are huge amounts of critiques on it being like, what the actual hell? Why did she go to the prom? Like, what? Why is she going out with Heath Ledger at all? After, and what is the 10 Things I Hate About You poem about? So
Yeah.
that is all true. But I guess they're trying to show someone who's lost trust, regaining a little bit of trust, basically.
Yeah, and I do think, just because you mentioned the poem then, I do think the way that this film sort of, has an awareness about the fact that it's an adaptation is a really
Yeah.
like, it's done in a really fun way.
Yeah.
The insertion of Shakespeare, and it's Kat's friend, isn't it, that's obsessed with
God, it's just so
it's
embarrassing.
obsessed with Shakespeare.
I love it. It's so
To the
embarrassing.
point where what's the guy's, it's not called Michael, is it?
Michael, yeah,
It is
Michael.
Michael.
Michael dresses up.
Yeah, dresses up as Shakespeare for is it that's at the prom, isn't it?
That's at the
It's at
prom
the
as well. Yeah. And you're like, God, you guys are having a weird night.
prom.
Like, what a weird night.
But
I mean,
go
I
off, I
think
guess. Like,
go off and have a good time. I mean, like, how is anyone having a good time at those things? But yeah, fair play to you. I love it when she pulls the dress that he's given her out of the locker and you're like, oh my God, that looks like the cheapest costume. It's the best we could do. It's the best you were gonna get. Yeah.
but she really thinks it's like the most amazing thing with the little note on it
The
that's
little
signed by
note
him.
by William Shakespeare, of course. That's what he'd do.
I love that though. I love that they're just allowed to be little weirdos together. Like it's just really
Yeah.
nice.
No,
And
that
that's a
is
nice, like that's a positive, like masculinity, representation in there that he's, accepting that she is how she is and she likes what she likes and he's not
yeah.
trying to change her. That's like a nice
No, you're right.
example of a guy not trying to change a girl,
Yeah,
to make her fit his
celebrating
mold.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did really like that. And I just want to say as well, because obviously the whole thing is, I don't want to say centered, but like the sonnet scene is such a big scene.
Yeah.
And it's obviously an assignment that, is it Mr. Morgan,
Yeah, her
gives
teacher.
them.
Yeah.
I think he is an absolute icon. I
Yeah.
love him. And at first when he was really rude to her, I was like, oh, is this just another person, another man that's just like being horrible to her? But he's just like that with all of his students. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have the time of day for any of them. And I love that. And I'm going very chaotic here, but the side characters in this that just kind of make no sense in terms of the adaptation. I think they're just there for the context of the school. Is
Yeah.
Mr. Morgan. There's obviously the detention teacher that I can remember,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she flashes out.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
weird moment. Yeah.
and Alison Janney as the guidance counselor
I know. And you're like,
writing erotic novel.
is going on? I know. I know. I wonder if it's just like they've set this place up as like this odd environment where you
Yeah.
can't where everyone is just incredibly erratic. I mean, that
Yes.
seems to be the vibe. There's no teacher or grown up is trustworthy or is necessarily right. They're all like
Yes.
very extreme and they have their own weird agendas that you can't really understand. So I think in that way it feels very it's quite like an adolescent perspective on what grown-ups are, e.g.
Yeah.
people you can't trust, you don't believe in and are wrong, basically.
Yeah. I do
Um
I do think that Mr. Morgan though is very like modern in his ways of
yeah,
thinking.
yeah, you're
Like the
right.
stuff that he comes out with, like these why is there just like a group of like white people that are really like weirdly into like Bob
Yeah,
Marley and into
Rastafarianism. I
Rastafari? Yeah,
know.
it's so unhinged. And he just kind of looks at them at one point in the classroom and he's like, don't even get me started on you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I guess he's also introducing that, he's trying to discuss race, isn't he? In this
yeah,
incredibly white film and
yeah,
school and environment, and also being like bringing a broader perspective, which I think is the thing that is obviously missing in their high school minds of
hmm,
like, it's so bad that a woman would assert herself. And you're like, guys, can we just like get a broader sense of the society we live in, which is incredibly racist and unequal? He's like, we're splitting at hairs here. So he's bringing like an interesting intersectional element into the film, and also another example of anger,
yeah,
justifiable anger, which I think is really interesting because you're
yeah,
like, yeah, he's right to be angry, she's right to be angry.
hmm,
Like, how is this going to be received by these random nightmare students who are really
yeah.
stupid, basically, in most cases?
I do love the moment when he says to Joey, like, you're gonna get bitch slapped one day or
I'm
something
not gonna,
like
I'm not gonna help you.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
then he makes him take his glasses off when he's trying to hide his
yeah.
bruise.
Oh my
It's
God.
so good. I want to ask you about the sonnet scene and why
Yeah.
you think that resonated with so many people?
I think, I mean, on the one hand, I just think like teenagers writing poetry that has any impact on anyone is probably quite a compelling moment.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it is quite a sort of adolescent thing to do, but everyone's usually quite embarrassed of it. But
Hmm.
I think the fact is that it marks such a shift in that character of showing vulnerability and openness and like basically making a fool of herself. Also, it's quite a bad poem. It's like categorically quite a bad poem. So I wonder if it's something that people felt like I could have written that and I could have
Yeah.
written that. And by writing that, I could have told Heath Ledger that I fancied him and I forgave him. And it's like, wow. So you've got that superpower, right? Quite a bad, you can write a bad poem and, it could win you someone really hot and nice. So I think if it had been good, it might have had much less of an impact. But it's like,
Yeah.
it sounded quite genuinely like something someone who was 18 and had never written anything before might write.
Yeah, it is quite, it is bad.
It's not great.
It's not
It's not
great,
great.
but everyone finds it so moving. I just think it's her performance in that moment,
Yeah, she's
when her voice
crying.
cracks and she starts crying, and it is like emotional.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And also she's been really like shamed to
yeah,
like and she's going like, despite all this, I've seen beyond it all. And what's really hard is that at the base of it is I care for you. Like, you and that is also sort of interesting in the concept of the play. Like,
yeah,
and I think that is the moment where they've sort of done their best to take something from the play and gone like, what can we take? We're going to take this. This is a moment where someone goes, I've been hurt, but I'm going to see through it, and I'm still going to keep going with you despite the fact that this has been a painful situation. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the contrast between Katerina's end speech in Taming of the Shrew
Oh my
with
God, yikes.
with Kat's sonnet in 10 Things I Hate About You, it's a crazy contrast because
Yeah.
I think the feeling that you're left with in the play is it is kind of it's like harrowing. Like it's like, oh
Yeah,
my
it's
God,
really
like what an
hard.
awful position for her to be left in.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it does feel like she's been hurt, but she is, sort of like you said, seen it through. Like, and I don't
Yeah.
know, she feels better for it that she's kind of opened herself up to it,
Yeah.
whereas before she was quite closed off, wasn't she? Um,
Yeah. She was
which is understandable,
preempting.
by the way, because her mum just left. There's no sort of. I mean, I'm not judging the mum for leaving, but also like, what would that do to them as
Yeah.
teenagers? That must have been really difficult. So yeah, I think it is a bit of a wild contrast.
Yeah, yeah, because I guess at the end of the Taming of the Shrew, she's like basically debasing herself. So I think it's like
Yeah.
this version of what is the high school version of that is an empowered thing, an
Yes.
empowered thing, and
Yeah.
it's her,
That's a great word. It does feel much more empowering.
yeah,
I think
someone
anything
making a
would feel more
choice.
empowering than the Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be hard, would it?
No.
But yeah, she's making the choice to make that statement of vulnerability.
Yes.
And it's in her own word. She's written it, she's crafted it, and she's
Yeah.
chosen to read it. She puts her hand up and says, "I want to do it." It's not like
Yeah.
she's been forced to, whereas in the Taming of the Shrew. So
She is, yeah. I also want to say justice for the oldest sister. Like,
yeah, fully right. She's just trying to look after her younger sister, who's, as we've established, really young and like
really
shouldn't
young.
be out at like parties being driven home by like weird lechy men. Like
No.
justice for the sister who's looking after her and being like, I'm actually an incredibly good role model to you.
Yeah. And why is the onus sort of put on her to have to be with somebody before they'll allow the younger sister to be with somebody? It's so weird.
Yeah, it's
It's so
incredibly
weird.
strange. It's incredibly strange. But I do think they like crafted that weird family dynamic quite well. And the dad being like, I bought it, you're like, yeah, and that dad would be protective and
I mean,
wouldn't be.
the dad in this film is a really interesting character because he work as like a gynecologist or
Yeah, or
something,
something like an
or
obstetrician or
obstetrician.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
he's delivering kids.
sorry, yes, and it's really really odd that like there's at one point he makes Bianca wear this like pregnant belly and is like, if you want to go to prom, like I want you to just like stand in the living room and think about this, he wants to like walk around wearing this and understand like what it might mean. And there is, you can really see this sort of misogynistic mindset that's been sort of projected onto them because he's talking about a 15-year-old and he delivered the child from a 15-year-old
Yeah.
and he's like, oh, and what do you think the first thing was that she said to me? And Bianca's like, that I'm a crack whore. It's so horrific that
It's
that is what she
so
comes up with.
bad.
Not like
Yeah.
this poor 15-year-old
Yeah,
that
yeah,
has had
yeah.
this
Who's
horrendous
had this
experience.
terrible
Is she
experience.
okay?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like the fact that she just comes out with that and nobody goes, whoa, like don't say that. He's just like, well,
No.
yeah, but
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely insane. It is
yeah,
completely insane. But what's also sort of mad is weirdly when I was watching it, I was thinking like his fears are well founded.
yeah,
Watching it going like this school is full of people that I would be really worried about for my kids.
yes,
Like,
yeah.
don't go out, don't go to that party. Like, But yeah, no, I mean he's a guy who's like, yeah, sort of been traumatized and they're taking in some really weird perspectives on women. So it's
Mm,
decided that controlling their sexuality is their only way to be safe, which is
mm,
obviously like an incredibly old-fashioned patriarchal perspective. And again, it's like informed by a man, and it's him being like, this is it. This is how I'm going to protect women. This is what they, all men are dangerous. It's a very black and white perspective as well,
yeah,
rather than, and it's putting all the onus on the women again
yeah,
to like be in isolation. So
yeah,
rather than going, there's something societally wrong here. So yeah, but I sort of bought it. I bought
yeah,
the character. I bought his neuroses and his
yeah.
just madness. Like, it was just mad enough to work.
Yeah, and I do think he redeems himself towards the end when he has that really lovely conversation with Kat on the porch.
Yeah, that's true.
And he says something like, I should have written down the quote, but it's something like, it's really difficult for fathers to watch like their daughters grow up, and you there's a point where you become like a spectator rather
Yeah.
than their father, and he's struggling with that. And I'm like, okay, you have redeemed yourself here because that is an understandable like struggle to have as a parent.
Yeah.
And but you just gone about it in a really weird way.
Oh, yeah, like a totally whacked out way, like,
Well,
and
he
then
lets her go to college. He lets her go
yeah,
to
you bloody hope he would
I
let her go to
know, I know.
university. But I mean, I guess it's a very expensive one. But yes,
Yeah.
yeah, money's not an issue for them, so it's fine. But yeah, he's let her go to university, thank goodness, and go and have some independence, and be at a women's college far away
Thank
from him.
God.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank God. I'm trying to think if there's anything that we haven't spoke about that's important.
In this film,
For
I
instance,
mean,
oh my God, the paintballing scene.
oh yeah, paintball.
You
There
literally
isn't.
described that as crucial.
Yeah.
Why do you love that scene?
It's so odd. Like
Yeah.
it's such an odd moment. Like I mean, but like we could take it back from the fact. Well, to be honest, that whole section is so weird. From the tension where she flashes the teacher,
Yeah.
which is like, what the hell? Like
What is going on?
this is out of character. Like what is going on? To them suddenly being on a pedalo, which is
Which
like
is a terrible green screen, by the way, like behind them. It's awful.
so weird. And also like, where are they?
Yeah.
They're like in the ocean. I mean, I was like absolutely obsessed with it. I was like, that just doesn't look safe. Like I'm
No,
pretty sure
just
you're like way too far out to sea on like a small pedalo. And then the paintballing scene, which is like not our concept of paintballing. It's like they're like balloons full of
yeah.
paint. I guess the reason why I'm sort of interested in that moment is that when I was watching it again, well, hey, it's just like, what is this date? Like this date is
Yeah.
so wow, okay, cool. We're going pedalo, then we're doing paintballing. But is that when I was watching it again, I was like, I don't know. It might just be from my perspective now, but I'm like, I just feel like if this was made again, I know they do at one point go like, is she a lesbian? And they're like, she's not. But it's like she's just got such a. I guess she's just an empowered woman. But I mean, now you'd be like, I think this woman probably is gay. She's like not into men that much. But anyway,
Yeah.
but in that moment where they're snogging and Heath Ledger's got his like hair tied back and they're like covered in paint. I was like, these could be two women. They look like
Yeah.
ungendered in that moment because they're wearing these like morph suits and they're both covered. They could be anything, and I thought
Yeah.
that was quite interesting. Quite
Definitely.
interesting for a film and play that is so about gender roles and that moment they decided that the important kiss it wouldn't happen at the prom, which is obviously this heightened gender display, but it would happen while they're both covered in paint in this weird like haystack like industrial zone.
Very
Yeah,
strange. But I do
yeah,
think that
yeah.
kiss was a really great kiss.
Yeah, I
I
thought so
will say
too.
that.
No, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think I actually genuinely think that was a good, that's an important moment
Yeah.
that happened there. It happens in this like netherworld. It's not their school. It's not in a clear place. It's like, they both look quite strange. And I
Yeah.
think it's like, yeah, that's more of a leveling. It's more of an equal place where vulnerability is possible because they're both covered in paint.
Yes. Yeah, I did love that kiss. Would say that's arguably the best kiss
Oh, in
in
the
the
film.
film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. No
definitely.
question. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%. Because the Bianca kiss, it's like I just couldn't. I was like, wow, she's snogging like a pro. Like she's so
Yeah.
confident and like it's sort of amazing. But I was like, whoa, okay. Um, yeah, and then yeah, there are probably some others, but yeah, the haystack kiss followed by a continuation of a paintball fight, I thought was
It was
yeah,
very
it's good,
good.
it's good, it's good, it's good, it's a good moment.
Definitely. And I do think, in The Taming of the Shrew, we do think like does Patricio even like Katerina, whereas in the film I did feel like Patrick does end up falling for her. That's
Yeah,
very obvious to me, and it does bring that sort of rom-com magic to it, in all the
yeah.
ways that, even though he said before that that performance was terrible.
Wasn't his best. It wasn't his best.
And there are some questionable moments where like he like follows her to the music shop and he like follows her
Oh.
to the bookshop and you're like, what is this
Yeah,
guy
and
doing?
she's like, "Oh, are you following me?" He's like, "No," and you're like, "Well,
You
you
are.
are." So that's really strange.
So that is strange.
Yeah, it is odd. It is odd. Yeah, and I think they just hadn't made enough choices about like his past and his situation and his own like I think maybe they began with the idea like this guy's going to be quite troubled, he's going to be
Yeah.
but then they sort of couldn't maybe be bothered to develop that further or think about it more in
And he's
depth.
just been with his granddad the whole time.
With his granddad, and you're like, okay, well, I mean, that's sad.
Why does everyone find him so weird?
Yeah, exactly. And why is he so sort of yeah, why is he so ostracized, this sort of
Yeah.
hunk who's good with a drill, like very weird. So yeah, but yeah, you do buy that he's sort of quite nice, essentially. But yeah, and there's that moment where he has a nice chat with Cameron as well, during Bogey's party, where he's like being a more kind person. So yeah, you do get it. And he buys her a guitar at the end so she can go and be in like a cool Riot Girl band,
He does. And he gets her favourite singer or band to
Oh
play at
yeah,
prom. I don't know
yes.
how he managed to wrangle that, but
I don't
fair
know
play.
either, but he managed
Also, why
it.
are they playing on the roof at the end?
Really odd. No one knows. No one knows. They're just doing whatever the hell they want. They're being free. But yeah, it's very weird. I think it's yeah. So I guess that him getting the band in to play the prom is like making her film more comfortable in an
Yeah.
environment that she wouldn't otherwise, and also showing that her interests are also cool and good, and everyone can enjoy them. So yeah, that is nice. I don't think they're going to last as a couple. I would say
Mm.
she's gonna go to university and that's gonna be over. But I think he's redeemed how harrowing that situation could have been for her.
Yes. And
That's
she's
also
going out into the world, more open to the idea of a
yeah,
relationship and not kind of keeping herself closed off, which is nice.
yeah,
Maybe
open
she
to
does
like
go to uni and she realizes she's a lesbian and just
yeah, or bisexual or
has
anything.
the
It's
best
just a
time with
world.
women, you
With
know?
everyone's having a nice
Yeah.
time. I mean, I think it's just she seems to be able to acknowledge nuance more, doesn't
Yeah.
she, in terms of characters than in the original, than at the beginning where she's just sort of written everyone off. She's like, okay, not everyone, everyone's a bit more complicated perhaps than she's giving them credit for right at the beginning. So, oh my God. What a life. What a terrible and weird high school experience.
Honestly, I feel like I've made this a very chaotic episode in my
Oh, I love
jumping
it.
around of things to talk about. But what would you say is your overall thoughts of it as an adaptation?
I think it does, considering the material, it does quite a good job.
Yeah, agreed.
I would say, like it was not an easy choice.
No.
And I think, yeah, they've dealt with quite challenging material quite well. So yeah, I would say well done for trying. It's what I would say. It's
Yeah.
not easy at all of all the plays they could have gone for.
Yeah, and the fact that The Taming of the Shrew is seen as a comedy when it's just I didn't laugh once.
No,
Whereas I
it's just
did
a very
find
weird play.
10 Things I Hate About You fun and, silly and and I
Yeah,
did, I found it endearing in parts.
yeah.
Especially I wanted to mention the moment where they've been to the party and she's dancing on the table to Biggie.
I know. The soundtrack in it is so good,
It's
actually.
so
Yeah.
good. It's
It's
so
so
good.
good. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, exactly. I think it does capture like adolescent confusion and
Yeah.
also like the weirdness of being in this place where there's just so much money, where like all these kids have so much money
Yeah,
and they're
they're
like,
talking about the line with Bianca and Gabrielle Union's characters. It's
yeah,
chastity,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
say about like the like and love, and it's like I like my Skechers, but I love my Prada bag.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're like,
Sorry.
yeah, I know. We're just like in a world in which they're just like in another world. Like,
Yeah.
and he's being paid £100 a date. Like they just have immense amounts of like
Yeah.
disposable income, huge amounts of space, massive cars. It's
Hmm.
like they've each got a car and like
Yeah.
that's So it's yeah, I think it's dealing well with an already very odd environment, yeah, where people can't quite handle, don't know quite what to do with everything at their disposal, I think that's the other thing.
It's very true. Thank you so much for getting me to read this play
Well,
and to watch this
revisit.
film. And
A weird
yes,
adaptation.
very weird. Before I let you go, Sophie, though, I do like to plug your book. I think it's
Yeah.
really important that we talk about that. So, could you tell the listeners what My Ex-Girlfriend's Wedding is all about?
Yes, absolutely. My debut novel is My Ex-Girlfriend's Wedding, and it's about a woman called Hope who gets invited to her ex-girlfriend's wedding, who
It's
her
such a great premise. Sorry, it's such a
Oh
great premise.
man, and you just know it's happened. Like I know it's happened. Like I just know people it's happened to. And in this case though, they'd only broken up 6 months ago, so she's quite like floored by it.
Yeah, as
And
she
she's
would
not
be.
yeah, and she's not really over her because it's only been
Yeah.
6 months. So she thinks it's possible she's been invited as maybe a way of getting back with her ex. She thinks her
Hmm.
ex might still be interested in her in a sort of maybe poly open vibe. But her best friend thinks it's a really bad idea for her to go. So she goes to a tarot reader to
Yes.
decide whether or not she should go. And through the course of going to this tarot reader, she gets sort of like fitted with like a psychic alarm. It's like the tarot reader prays over her and says like I'm going to give you something that's going to help you make good decisions, and it means that she starts getting these all the way through the lead up to this wedding, which she's supposed to play music in. She's in the wedding band. She starts getting these weird visions, and
Yes.
it's often relating to potentially the person she should be going out with, the other romantic option that appears throughout the course of the book. So
I love
yeah,
that she's also, when she starts getting the visions, that she's just trying to push through and she's like, I'm booking a doctor's appointment immediately. And I just need
yeah.
to.
Just plow on, like yeah, someone in like really deep denial. I'd say that's what we're dealing with. Someone who does not have their best interests at heart, which is why they're playing in the wedding band for their ex-girlfriend, who they keep trying to meet and keeps on standing them up.
Crazy.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like it's like a funny lesbian-y rom-com. It's just like standing up.
I'm really loving it. And I
Yeah.
really love the family dynamic. I think the
Oh,
family are just so funny to
funny
read.
and mad. Yeah,
Yeah. Just the grandma that just keeps talking about ghosts and like,
yeah,
oh, don't do that in front of is it
yeah,
Angela's boy
yeah.
Jeff? Yes,
Yeah,
Jeff.
Jeff really turns up. Yeah, he ends up being like a weirdly important character. He really creeps from behind. But yeah, yeah, there's a whole family that she's within, and yeah, her grandma's like an ex-folklorist, so she like knows stuff, and she's probably the only one who can really fully understand what's going on with this main character's like visions and stuff, or take them seriously. So yeah, like there's a sort of element of like magic and weirdness within it,
Love to see it.
alongside a rom-com. Yeah.
So for the listeners, I'll be popping a link in the show notes to grab yourselves a copy. Please do. And where can the listeners find you online, if anywhere, Sophie?
You can find me on Instagram at sophie.u.crawford, and all my websites is just www.sophiecrawford.co.uk.
Amazing. And I believe that you're working on another book as well.
Yes, another rom-com. Yeah, which I'm
Exciting.
excited about. Yeah, 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 yeah. There'll be more info on that soon, 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 soon.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Sophie, thank you so much for coming on a pair of bookends and
Thank you
discussing
so
this
much
with
for
me.
having me. It's been so great.
I've loved it. And for the listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And you can give us a follow at A Pair of Bookends Pod on Instagram and at A Pair of Bookends on Twitter and TikTok. Come tell me and Sophie your thoughts on this adaptation. We'd love to hear them. But that is all we've got time for. So thank you so much again, Sophie. And thank you, listeners, for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.